All right, today we're jumping into one of the world's biggest and most fundamental challenges, getting energy to everyone. We're going to look at it through the lens of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals 7. And let me tell you, this is about so much more than just keeping the lights on. This is about unlocking human potential on a massive, massive scale.
First, I want you to just take a second. Really try to imagine your life with zero electricity. No lights when the sun goes down, no fridge to keep your food from spoiling, no phone to call anyone, and definitely no internet for work or school. For many of us, it's a world that's pretty much impossible to even picture.
But for 685 million people on this planet, that's not some thought experiment. It's their everyday reality. To put that into perspective, that's nearly twice the entire population of the United States living without a basic service we take for granted.
So there's this big official global goal to fix this problem. But here's the thing. There's a massive and frankly a growing gap between that ambition and what's actually happening on the ground.
Here's the goal itself, SDG7. The mission seems clear, right? Ensure everyone has access to energy that's affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern. And the deadline for all this? 2030. It's a goal that really covers three big things: access, renewable energy, and efficiency.
Now, this is where the story takes a really worrying turn. You'd think we'd be making steady progress, but we're actually going backward. In 2022, for the first time in over a decade, the number of people without electricity actually went up by 10 million. It's a huge red flag that shows just how fragile this progress really is.
And if you want to understand this problem, you have to look at where it's concentrated. It's just staggering. A huge 586 million of those 685 million people live in sub-Saharan Africa. What's happening there is that population growth is so fast, it's literally outpacing the rate at which new homes can be connected to power. And the crisis doesn't stop with electricity. There's a related, and honestly an even bigger problem, clean cooking. We're talking about 2.1 billion people, that's billion with a B, who still have to rely on dangerous, polluting fuels like wood or charcoal just to cook their daily meals, which causes some really severe health issues.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty daunting, but there is some really good news. There's a powerful solution that's gaining a lot of momentum, a way to basically leapfrog the old, slow infrastructure and get power to people fast.
It's called decentralized renewable energy, or DRE for short. The best way to think about it is local energy. Instead of giant power plants and hundreds of miles of wires, we're talking about things like solar panels on a single house, or a small mini-grid that can power an entire village all on its own.
So why is this such a game changer? Well, for one, it's way faster and a lot cheaper to set up in remote areas than trying to extend the massive traditional grid. And this isn't just a theory, it's already working. Between 2020 and 2022, DRE was behind more than half of all new electricity connections in sub-Saharan Africa.
Now, this doesn't mean we're just throwing out the old power grid. Not at all. The smartest way forward is to use everything we've got. To hit that 2030 goal, we need a mix. The big grid will still handle just over half of the new connections. But a critical 47%, that's the standalone solar and mini-grids, has to come from these decentralized solutions.
And this is so important. DRE is about way more than just a few light bulbs. This is about powering what experts call productive uses, the stuff that really drives development. We're talking solar water pumps so farmers can irrigate their fields, reliable power for schools, and refrigerators in rural clinics to store life-saving vaccines.
So the technology is there. We know this works. What's the holdup? Well, as you might have guessed, it comes down to money. But the problem isn't that there's a global shortage of cash, it's about getting that cash to flow to the right places.
Okay, prepare yourself for this number. To meet our climate and development goals, the world needs to be investing $1.8 trillion in clean energy in developing nations every single year. It's an absolutely enormous figure.
But here's the real twist. It's not just the amount of money, it's the cost of that money. For the exact same solar project, the cost of borrowing money to build it can be 2 to 3 times higher in a developing country than in a place like the US or Germany, and it's all because of perceived risk.
So how do you fix that? With some very smart financing. The idea is to use public money, like from development banks, not to pay for everything but to de-risk the projects for private investors. You offer guarantees, you help make it affordable for the end users, and suddenly you make these projects look way more attractive to huge pools of private money that have been sitting on the sidelines.
But hitting this goal isn't just about tech and finance. It's about changing societies, and it's about tackling some really deep-seated inequalities. And hey, remember I said SDG7 had a few different parts? Well, access is one. But another huge piece of the puzzle is efficiency, getting more bang for our buck from every kilowatt we produce. To hit our targets, we basically have to get twice as good at saving energy as we have been historically. This is what helps keep energy affordable for everyone in the long run.
The human side of this is just incredible, especially for women. I love this example. There's a program that trains women from rural, often marginalized communities to become solar engineers. They call them solar mamas, and these women then go back and bring light and power to their own villages. It's decentralized empowerment.
And you can see the chain reaction right here. It's so powerful. Step 1, when you have clean energy, women and girls don't have to spend hours every single day collecting firewood. Step 2, all that time is suddenly freed up. They can use it to go to school or to start a business. And that leads directly to step 3. They become economically and socially empowered. It's a straight line from a solar panel to real opportunity.
So, let's pull all these threads together. Let's look at the final big picture of what it's going to take to finally flip the switch for everyone, everywhere.
So here it is in a nutshell. The goal is universal energy access. The gap is those 685 million people still living in the dark. A huge part of the solution is decentralized renewable energy. And the biggest hurdle is that trillion-dollar investment challenge.
And that really leaves us with one final crucial question. We have the technology to solve energy poverty. The human need is absolutely undeniable. So maybe the real challenge here isn't an engineering one. Maybe the hardest part isn't generating the power, but generating the political and financial will to finally get it done.